You know, one of the best kind of attacker assassin players that we saw in EU for a very long time. Playing Slowbro seems like, why do you just not have somebody to actually play Slowbro on your team? But the switching around did work out for them, so I do feel like there's a lot of questions as we get into our first match of Grand Finals.
And we hate supporters again, apparently, as Eldergoss, Blissey, Psyduck, just throw Hooper in there. Why don't you? No, never mind. Well, I mean, Umbreon is as close to a supporter as you can get here on the defender front, but surely for Nouns Esports, you're locking in Hooper first.
Yeah, I didn't get to make my joke earlier when there was it was a Mew, a Psyduck, and an Umbreon, and I said these are almost all supporters except for the Psyduck, who's a carry. But Hoopa first pick, and I like that a lot. I think that was definitely on broadcast, the first match that we saw Ender play the Hoopa. Obviously, a great showing across the board, so I'm glad that they're picking that up again. On the other side, though, Megu picking up the Miraidon, obvious pick. Blastoise, okay. Blastoise being picked surprisingly low, I think, but we've had really high impact Snorlaxes across the day. First pick, though, kind of surprising.
Yeah, I think you just want that wall early game. As much as we've seen some I say excellent Blastoise play, we saw some excellent Squirtle play from Aslan earlier, you might remember. You just want that early disruption against the Hooper, and I would trust a Slam over the Water Gun, because you've got to position yourself. A little bit more of the aggressive side of things then from Nouns Esports as they lock in the Mewtwo Y and the Blaziken. Again, Hyperspace Hole probably going to be preferred over Trick. But here we go. G5 running it back to Season 2. Zoroark and Comfey, to which Nouns says, okay, hit the Slowbro button.
Yeah, that was they definitely have a big red button on the wall, and it's like, bro, Slowbro. And anytime they see a big speedster, they're like, hit the button. Yeah, which is obviously very scary. And we did see Zoroark Comfey earlier, which was a combo that was working out pretty well, too well, and it actually gave us one of the biggest comebacks that we've seen in UCS maybe history, where it was like a 500 to 0 point score, 400 to 0, and then it ended up winning the other direction. So maybe it'll go a little better this time.
It was Kabai, wasn't it? It was a bit of a deep send from Leorio, if I remember correctly, and it was rather unfortunate to see everything fall apart. Lunda on the Glaceon, I'm a big fan of. It's interesting to see Toon prioritizing the Absol, but then again, you know, Midnight Slash, how much value can you get out of it? We saw a couple of whiffs, but when it does hit, it sure hits. Lunda with kiting opportunities will be essential in trying to whittle down the Slowbro health bar, which has always been an issue with this Pokemon. I remember back in Season 1 and Season 2, you would be hard-pressed to find a team that didn't run a Slowbro at some point during a series. Yes, it's not as highly thought of nowadays because there are plenty more options with many different toolkits, but Slow Beam remains one of the best single isolator Unite moves that you can find in this game, and it'll be no surprise to see them using it on that Zoroark.
Yeah, I love Slowbro because it is always relevant, but its relevance is not static, right? It's not like this is the Pokemon's tools, this is how good it is. The more of a threat there is on the other side, the better it is. So it's constantly going in and out of favor based on what threats it can slow beam, but we'll see if they hit the right threat here. We're going into Game 1 of Grand Finals pre-reset. That's going to be Nouns on the loser's side, Gen 5 on the winner's side. So we are going to have to see the Nouns team win 2 full sets if they want to win the tournament.
Yeah, are we in the prologue, or is it simply Chapter 1? Well, already Inder in the invading territory ejects over the wall, and that Zoroark will be allowed to continue to take down the wild Pokemon at their pleasure. Nice defense here on the bottom path as Zero is going to continue the chase with the Comfey. Not often you see the Flower Crown feeling bold, but Megu doing a job just fine on this top path, and they're going to have a little help now as Zero joins them.
Yeah, also we saw the Comfey get the red buff, which is a little bit rare. It takes a lot of skill to be able to pop off, use the red buff effectively, pop back onto your teammate. Not as easy as something like Hoopa getting it, right? Where you're just like, okay, well, I'm just going to hold down the button, or Eldegoss. So I'm excited to see how well they play with that. But on the bottom path, I mean, 3 versus 2, but this is still a really scary path with Lunder on that Glaceon and Snorlax being able to just kind of protect it as much as you can. Oh. But oh my gosh, let me eat my words really quick as they go down the speed zone all the way to a KO on the tier 2 pad at 8 minutes and 35 seconds.
Never turn your back on a pursuit, Absol. Do you not know what this move does? And a pain point that they're going to have to learn here, Gen 5, as Nouns Esports have a slender lead, and again, look for invades, but check out Sorayu, what you can do, we can do better, going after Bold Toys, going after this Torchic, which is yet to evolve. Gatlu forced to pop the X-Speed in a speed zone, and now trying to whittle down the health bar of Inter. They know that they're not going to be able to get that, but what they can get, Chef, is another blue buff.
Inder's microplay very strong there, not going down, but yeah, Gatlu is in a terrible spot. There's no other way to put it. Finally evolves just right now, and yeah, this Sorayu level 8 with the ultimate support on it is just going to run havoc upon this team.
Level 8 already. And you got the Comfey there as well. Going to be curious to see whether they go towards more of the magical leaf fruit or whether they go for that grass knot. I imagine grass knot because you can catch multiple Pokemon and get the stuns immediately. Oh! Again, another player not learning here, Chef. And this time now it's Sorayu who's caught between a rock and a hard place. Lots of heals though. Uses Thief, slashes back at the Absol, finds the second KO. Cannot make it 3 as a Desu holds strong.
Desu running away from Zero for a moment right there. They're like, wait a minute, I really don't want to get 1v1'd by Comfey. That would be definitely an ego loss for me. But they do manage to jump back, get the shield, take it down, become Mewtwo, or Mega Mewtwo Y. Everything looking quite good. So now it's turning that around really well, and it does feel like this is going to be a little bit of a speedster battle.
Nice block. And Hooper pays the price. Infinite Sideburn takes down the Glaceon. No Snow Cloak for you! And check that out, despite the Midnight Slash, it's Sorayu who steals away the Reg Ice. But Psycho Cut goes down, dangerous! And that's going to be the Zoroark down, followed by the Snorlax, followed by the Comfey Crown. 2 KO streak here for Bruv.
Oh, Toon managing to avoid some damage by scoring and then getting back through the portal just barely. Unfortunately, Desu not able to follow suit, so there's going to be a very important KO, a high-level KO, as that was level 10 Mewtwo on the side of Nouns Esports, Gen 5. Finding their way back in this. They do still have the points lead as well. They just have to worry about Toon. Toon is the main component here to why they're doing so well in these team fights, and I don't know if you have the answer for it. You're not the team with the slow, bro. You got to find something.
Volatile meta, volatile game. KOs everywhere you look, and the Regieleki has hit pad. 60 points to be scored. How many do you got, Toon? Only 19. He might not even feel bold enough to try and score these. He actually pops the X attack, though. Hits the Psycho Cut, but the Electro Drift brings Megu out of trouble naturally. Rotate from Nouns Esports, but the timer on the Regieleki's run out.
This Electro Drift, oh my goodness, what an avoid! That was almost a really great play, but that's going to be 2 for Megu. 2 huge targets, a level 11 and a level 10. Gatlu's starting to even up in levels and become a threat, but, I mean, they're losing so many fights in the meantime. They're losing goal zones now to the point 2. Okay, everybody's going to walk back. They're like, no, we're not dealing with that overheat, but Gen 5, I think, looking quite strong. However, again, volatile was the word you used, and volatile is absolutely what every single team fight's going to be here. The first big pick in every single team fight is going to mean everything. The slow beam is going to mean a ton. This could easily go either way, even if one team does seem to have a bit of an advantage.
Oh, brilliant use of the Thief, and then the Grass Knot to secure another stack onto Sorayu. Drops the Smoke Bomb, drops the Flowery Fields forever. And Sorayu sitting pretty for the moment as our next Reggie arrives on bottom path. A Reggie Rock is taken way away from its spawning point. That's going to be a reset health bar. No point in going after that. Hooper Unbound brings the party to the basement. It's got the stuns onto Lunda. The boosted auto. The infinite Sideburn. Oh, pour salt into the wounds. Why don't you? But the Electro Drift runs over the Hooper. Trying to go through the shield, the power nap is unleashed. Here we go! The Reggie Rock, I should say, is going to be taken away from Nouns Esports by Gen 5, by Megu. Another smoke bomb goes down, eager to try and dismantle this defense. 3 KO streak for the Miraidon player.
I thought this was going to be a speedster match between the Absol and the Zoroark. This is a speedster match between the Absol, the Zoroark, and the Miraidon, apparently. I made the incorrect read as we went into this game, but amazing Electro Drift play. Not one that we've seen, I mean, it's not that we see it, like, never, but it's not something we've seen it all today. I think this is the first time that we've seen it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there was one more time I'm just forgetting, but we've seen a decent amount in NA. However, this is a really good usage of of it, and it's doing just so much work.
Looking for another steal. It's the Bright Future Meteor Storm instead of the Electro Drift. And the Absol, I mean, it was actually a misplay from Gatlu on the overheat. Midnight Slash is going to whiff just to buy themselves a little bit of time back into the hyperspace highway. They're going to re-emerge, but into what carnage! Oh my word, another multi-KO streak here for Megu. Ends at 2, more scores. See Gen 5 retake the lead. Once again, Gen 5 do not care for this Regieleki. They're happy to let it run onto base because they fancy scoring themselves. Aggression, the better form of defense, is their opinion.
Another level 14 before the 3-minute mark, by the way, and that's going to be Megu on that Miraidon. That is disgusting. And at what point do you just take the Konfei off the Zoroark and just throw it on Miraidon? You're like, yeah, that's how this is going now at this point. No, I do feel like this is probably still the strongest bet because the Miraidon can have a little bit more of self-control of the situation. But we're 20 seconds away from the final stretch, and clearly the level, oh my goodness, level 15 on Megu before the 2-minute and 20-second mark. That, I don't even know what to say. They're still farming. They're still farming for the Unite, I guess. But I was about to say, you have nothing left to farm for. Like, come on. Give someone else some experience.
It is not often that you see that. I was getting excited about seeing the Absol almost at level 14. Hey, guess what? Lunda's there as well. Gen 5 with a distinct advantage. Nouns Esports all cuddled up in this tall grass. They make themselves known. Pokes from Gen 5, meanwhile, now looking to rotate round into alternate top grass. Look at Gen 5. Wings spread wide. They're not looking for any backcaps. They know that Nouns Esports can bring the Hooper Unbound and just reset any backcap opportunity that they might think that it's going after. But check out Megu under pressure. Nice rotate from Nouns Esports, and still this Rayquaza remains practically unharmed.
They are going to take down the Excelgor, though, the main objective of the 2-minute mark, and Nouns might be waiting too long to make a play. They have to do something here. They're even going to be resetting for the meantime, getting back through that portal, and I don't think you want to engage as you're still waiting for Toonslim to come back. Finally comes back, but 1 minute left. If you're not careful, you're just going to run out of time to even score if you win this fight.
The Comfey is wasted, though. The Smoke Bomb and the Flowery Fields forever. Midnight Slash. Yutao eats it. Backline poke. Slow Beam. And Megu has been removed from the picture. They are not taking part in this fight anymore. Now the Hooper goes unbound. Lunda hoping for some action. The Power Nap. Sorayu goes to work. And Sorayu looking for the second. Looking for the third. It's all Sorayu, baby. Oh, my word. All on his own. Now looking for the fifth. Going after Gatlu, the overheat, no, taken down by Gatlu, what a clutch up, until it wasn't. A little switch, a little dilly-dally from Surzuro onto the Glaceon, and that should be all wrapped up here for Gen 5, Chef.
There's 11 seconds left. If they were delayed by any longer, they would not have made it to a goal zone, but they're definitely making it here. Wait a minute. Don't take too long. Don't start hitting the random birds. Okay, they are going to make it literally down to the final 2 seconds. And boy, that was some scary, scary timing, but they certainly made that work. Sorayu going on an absolute tear after Megu went down.
Throwing back the years, quite frankly. I remember a time when we were talking about Sorayu, Klaus, yes, these like huge Lucario players, and Season 2 comes around, and all you can think about with Sorayu is this Zoroark. This is why Gen 5 wanted to put their faith in him. I was not expecting Yutao to rotate to a defender. I still don't quite believe it, Chef. But here it is, working yet again. Gen 5 1 win away from completely destroying the Nouns streak this season.
I will say, too, by the way, Sorayu...
You can see here the damage done by Sorayu, the 4 KO streak. Unable to find the Penta that you were so eager for,
I
Chef.
know.
One more chance,
today.
maybe, at least? Well, we start with the ban phase once again. And so, Umbreon up first. Will we see 3 supporters again, though, really, is the question. Because now in Esports, they've got first pick.
I'm surprised that we're seeing the Umbreon ban. I feel like that would be really good of a pick against G5, but maybe they don't want to be forced to first pick it, which is fully, I mean, understandable. Another option that they... Oh, okay, Miraidon gone. Yeah, that was certainly too much. I agree with that.
And Mewtwo, why? So no more Mewtwo Y for Nouns Esports. Both attack carries out the way. And so Blissey, Hooper, Eldegoss, all back on the table. Nouns going with the Blissey, which I don't know about you, Chef. I've much more enjoyed seeing Inder on the Hooper than the Blissey today.
100%. Yeah, the Hoopa has looked amazing. Even in the last game, it was looking very good. The Blissey just doesn't seem like it's had the right targets to support, especially now that Blissey is obviously so good. The buffs to its Unite move are incredible, but the current like safeguard build, it needs the right targets to be around, and it needs things to go your way. Otherwise it feels like it's not doing anything. Your team is just getting KO'd all around you. So I do like these pickups that both teams are picking up as well. Blastoise has been very low picked across the board today, but it's a very strong Pokemon in the meta at the moment, and especially if they're switching back and forth between defenders, I like it.
Yeah, you really don't know what you're going to get here. So Utah heading onto the free roaming role. Bruv locking in the Trevenant. We got a Toon, I'd imagine, single strike Shifu. Gatlu, yeah, going on to the Garchomp. That makes sense to me. What about Megu? We've seen Zacian, maybe the Aegislash, maybe Serena potentially rotating around those options. The Metagross we know that Megu is proficient on as well. And ultimately, looks like we're settling on the Serena. The first time that we've seen her in a hot second, Chef. But when we have seen her, game-changing.
Yes, I think Serena has a super high win rate on broadcast. Maybe 100%. I'm actually not 100% sure on that. But this is a great comp that Nouns has drafted. They have set themselves up for an objective-taking comp, right? Really, really good secure from the side of, two of their Pokemon, right? Their Shifu and the Espeon, and then the ability to burn down. Not only burn down, but also have the safeguard from the Blissey to be able to make sure that nobody can stop you from getting your secure. So realistically, I think that's why we saw the Serena, is that now you have two kind of solo target, stop doing anything that you're doing Unite moves, right? But being from the Mimikyu and the Serena, and that can really throw a wrench in your plans, even when you do have that safeguard.
Worth noting the slight switch around there in who's playing who as well. So Megu going on to the Blastoise, which does make a lot of sense, and it's worth noticing the itemization there. They're going to be running Rapid Spin almost certainly with the Slick Spoon, and you know that feels pretty set in stone for me. Lunda running Mew, yes, but running the support Mew build. And that means that we now have Soreyu and Utah on the same team, both free roaming. I don't know whether Nouns Esports will necessarily care so much. I mean, certainly if I'm a team coach, Chef, I'm focusing more on myself and what I can do after draft. It doesn't matter who I'm facing on what Pokemon. I've already drafted for it. I've already covered it. But often those plans can be thrown out the window, as we also often know it's Game 2, potentially the final of the day. Gen 5 on the precipice.
They've got to hold on to their momentum. They've got it right now. They're feeling good, I think, just from their play. That's what I'm feeling, and they just need one more win. But if they don't get this win, I feel like it gives Nouns such a huge opportunity to get back their momentum. Of course, the attempt to stop the Cubfrumo from evolving is going to work really, really well, as now it's going to just completely rotate out. Blissey coming in, or I should say Chansey coming in to help. You can see it over there, but Cubfu having to take some of the experience from Path and not being in Urshifu yet, that's tough for Nouns.
3 rotate into the bottom part, but check out the purple central area here. We've got a bit of a chase down here with the Gossifleur. And looks like Utah's coming to help. They are going to harass Inder. Gatlu not going to be too much help, as ultimately the buff is stolen away. Still no Eldegoss online for Suzuro, but here's Megu to help out. Utah going in with the Shadow Claw. Backline poke for Megu with the Water Gun. Pushes Gatlu away. Again, a massive Squirtle play early game. And it sees the K-Opener go over to Gen 5.
That's yeah, we've seen some pretty strong early game Squirtle plays, which is not something I'm used to seeing, but this has been a great Gen 5 game so far. They've delayed so much with that invade. They managed to take both buffs, like you said. They didn't get KO'd for it, which is huge. I mean, even if you do get KO'd, it's pretty much worth it if it's just a support, but no, they got away scot-free, and they managed to give those buffs to somebody that was important, it seemed like. So I just think that they are being huge menaces, already somewhat gathering here, although right now it's just a 0 on the side of Gen 5. They're like, oh, maybe I can take them. Who knows?
They're going to be a little late, aren't they? With the Dragon Rush and the Wood Hammer, yeah, there's no chance that they're going to get anything more than that. Triple Axle for Sorayu on this arena. We have seen a couple of different movesets utilized as the coaching moves down with the crew onto the bottom path. Yutao, again, utilizing this trick room, although using it more to rotate out and away, Chef. Survival first.
Hey, you know, it's good for everything. That level of mobility is why you choose it. You can use it outside of combat, you can use it within combat, you can chase people down, you can run away, you can just make the floor look shiny, which is nice. It's a nice power fantasy to have your own room, you know? Real estate's very expensive right now, but most of that experience, if not all that experience, going inside of Nouns. It's going to be one of their first big situational wins, I should say. They're still down by levels.
So triple axle, and it is going to be the grassy slide, so another alternate look at this Serena. Not that it did them much use, surrounded by Nouns players who now have, speaking of real estate, plenty of free air around this Reg Ice, and I think Gen 5 recognize that. Check your minimap top left, folks. That is a big old 5-player rotate onto the top path, and Megu will look to start things off, albeit with not a lot of health bar to speak of. It feels like Gatlu has done a bit of work up here that has gone unseen, but he will be able to work no more. Gen 5, their quick thinking has at least ensured a Reggie of their own.
They do need the points. They are down by a decent amount, so getting this in would be huge. They are actually going to dive onto the tier 1. Unfortunate, I believe that Unite just did not hit anybody, and they are going to be paying the price for it. So there's a good amount of running, actually, that we're going to have to see from Gen 5. I thought that they were going to actually get a little bit more off of that, but the counter push from the side of Nouns is working pretty well. I suppose even though the Psychic Slayer didn't actually hit anybody from Adesu, it managed to split up the team a little bit, so the situation was a little bit better than maybe I was expecting.
Yeah, gotta say, I'm slightly concerned about the influence of Sorayu at the moment. Looking at them trying to attack people on that T1 pad was like trying to watch a paper knife cut through a titanium shield like that. That was going to take a million years to burn down those health bars. And again, lost in the source, using the grassy glide to get away. Almost got that Unite move online, bet like one tick away. Finally has the Queen Ascendant, but now it's all about the timing, and for the moment it's just a rest period. Look for those yellow dots and wait for the next Reggie phase.
Oh, Gatlu being found very easily in that tall grass somehow. And wow, yep, gonna use everything you possibly can to get rid of Gatlu, who, by the way, oh my goodness, is gonna be using the Unite of their own to try and escape. That was a pretty big cost for a pretty low chance, I think, of being able to escape, especially from a Trick Room Mimikyu. It's not like you're gonna make them miss one move and escape. Like, they're just constantly jumping after you.
Big push on the top path here for Gen 5, but the Psychic Slayer denies any scores. Trick Room goes down. I say any scores, sorry. The 30 goes down from Suzuro. Espeon taken down, but reinforcements on the way. Phantom Forest catches 3. Got the Cotton Cloud Crash and the Hydro Typhoon utilized. Surf away. Gatlu going to be denied any further KOs. Electro Ball and the boosted auto, but Indy is here. Indy is here, of course, to provide some extra support. And, well, as soon as I was saying the next phase is here, the next phase is already half done. Chef Reggie rocking the pockets of Nouns Esports. Gen 5 looking for a second Reggie Alecki. Gonna go for the steal away. Not gonna happen. Gen 5 get it.
It was a good attempt, but there should be time to rotate and defend against this if you really, really want to. However, we're getting a little bit late in the game, and oh no, actually, I'm surprised. Gen 5 has been really, really trying to push that tier 1 down. They instead choose to just completely abandon it. They are going to get a 40 dunk in on the bottom path. Sorayu getting a little bit closer to breaking that, maybe getting some stacks in, but that doesn't mean that Regieleki completely defended up in that top path, as Gen 5 just kind of deciding to back up. Sorayu, once again, I would say maybe a little bit far in, but we've been seeing that from both teams as single players have been caught out a decent amount. Also, a lot of people hiding and waiting for ambushes.
Indeed. And just for confirmation, yes, Sorayu is running the attack weight, which would certainly explain why they were, I don't know, why they had the cutting power of a wet towel cloth. Speaking of something that doesn't, how about this? Livid Outrage, but doesn't find any KOs. Steal on the Citrus Berry, and ultimately this Nouns push going to be pushed back. Another Hydro Typhoon only catches Gatlu, who should get out of this one scot-free. An attempted 50 score on the bottom path here from the Mimikyu. Going to be denied, ultimately too many bodies around them, and eventually Gatlu will be taken down by Lunda with the Electro Ball.
Gatlu going down a lot this game, but is staying decently high level. Again, there's just so many people getting caught out on the other side of the map. I don't really understand what's happening. It's like we're just literally shifting our camera from one player on the wrong side of the map to another player on the wrong side of the map to another player on the wrong side of the map, and it's like, all right, come on, relax, y'all. We're 1 minute away from the final stretch here, which is the potential final stretch of the entire tournament for EU. Let's play a little bit safe, at least for a moment, build back some of these unites. We're still missing Garchomp Unite, we're missing Espeon or Shifu, Mimikyu. Like, hold on a minute, farm a little bit, get ready for the fight.
Very messy. And a third successive bottom path Reggie is going to be lost from a Gen 5 perspective over to Nouns Esports. The good news is that they've finally broken a zone, and with that, Chef, they've taken the lead and the Regieleki. The setup at this crucial juncture sublime, but check out Nouns Esports and this posturing, going in immediately, starting the team fight before Ray's even here. Yutao's caught out, forces out the Cotton Cloud Crash just to provide some shielding. Yutao trying to now respond with the Trick Room into the backline. Goes Yutao, finds the Queen Ascendant, finds the KO onto Espeon. Can they find a second though? Feels like it's a long way from over yet. Backline poke, but here comes to come play with me. Eliminates the shielding off Gatlu, brings the Dragon Rage into the center. Mystical Mirage pop now as well. Inda managing to find Gatlu once again, but the rest of the teammates, Chef, they're gone. They're all gone. It's all Yutao now, or is it? Because this safe hand, safeguard Blissey is, no, my goodness, going to find the Bliss assistant somehow. Again, more shielding. Gatlu going to work, but here comes Sarayu to find more KOs.
Okay, so 2 members down now on Gen 5. Now it's starting to run back. Gen 5 has to be careful of this refight just not going their direction. If they get caught out, look at Megu, kind of in a forward position, trying to keep people away from the Ray Pit. And if you're not careful, you're going to be the first one taken out. That's exactly what's starting to happen. A great way to surf away, get out of that situation. A 3-person Phantom Force. It's going to be a huge amount of shielding, and they need it right now. They're going for this Rayquaza. That's a huge KO for Gen 5.
Absolutely shocked that Sarayu was still going to go in, and they are going to be ultimately punished. It's anybody's guess. It's a Ray Flip. Oh, would you believe it? Nouns Esports clutch up again. Gatlu, knockout, knockout, knockout. Well, here's the final punch. It's his.
Oh, this is actually still kind of close. If I'm being 100% honest, there's a chance to score here for Inder, right? This is or I'm sorry, not for Inder, it's a 0. I'm just used to too many support players, but no, the respawn happens in time. If they had used that Unite to get there a little bit earlier, they might have had a chance to score that 50, but now they won't. They need to re-win a team fight, but oh no, more points going in for Nouns. I think their chances are disappearing. More points, and only 8 seconds left. It had to be some sort of defense, but nobody was up in time, and Nouns clutching it out on the refight, which looked nearly impossible, but they managed to do it, especially once again with Inder keeping Gatlu alive for what felt like a million years.
Messy game. And
yes.
Truth be told, if you look at that game as a microcosm, anybody's guess. Complete coin flip. But one has to wonder, did Gen 5 burn through too many elements of good fortune too quickly? So many times, Chef. It felt more them than Nouns Esports. A player caught out big time, handing over crucial EXP that keeps Nouns Esports in it, level, going into the Ray. And then in that final moment, I said it at the beginning of this game, I had this deep feeling that something was going to happen. Gatlu steals it away. Incredible consistency.
I really need to see that Ray fight again. I mean, obviously, that half that game was Ray fight, basically. But I really need to see it again because I mentioned this at the very beginning of the game, right? Where the entire team from now... Hey, you know, time's a flat circle. Time is just, if it's anything that Pokemon Unite players know, it's that time is just an infinitely repeating 10 minutes, you know, that just plays out the same way over and over, eventually, over time. But 10 minutes is going to decide the fate of this tournament, as we're now in Game 3 of pre-reset Grand Finals. For anybody out there who has not been following along this entire time, Gen 5 in the winner's side, they need to win one game to win the entire tournament. Nouns, one more game, and they reset us back to a 0-0 score. Bans already looking very EX so far.
Gen 5 do not have access to Blissey. That was Nouns' choice. Gen 5 with first pick, you don't get Blissey. But what do you choose instead? It's the Umbreon locked in for Gen 5. Gives Nouns the option to pick up the Inder Hooper once again. And I got to say, Chef, having not... I don't think I've seen... I mean, at least it doesn't come to mind, given that you broke my brain just a few months ago.
Of course.
I don't remember Nouns playing Umbreon this tournament so far. Have I missed a game?
I actually can't think of it either, which is weird. I think maybe they usually ban Umbreon, maybe? Bruv has been on a lot of defenders, but maybe they've been Umbreon? I don't know. I can't think of the times, but it certainly is possible. I think all of our brains are broken. It's been a little bit of a long day of Pokemon Unite. I've been up for a pretty long time. It's 7:30 a.m. for me. I know it's starting to get late for you, late for Kello, and Alex certainly the same time as me, but... Is this real? What? Game 3 pre-reset and we're seeing a Lapras?
Why though? Gen 5 gonna lock in that. I mean, I'm presuming it's gonna be the Sorayu one on Zoroark. Oh, Zero Aura Zoroark. Get ready for the tongue twisters, folks. That is a very interesting draft. Double support Lapras for Nouns Esports with the attack damage carry Zero Aura. Gen 5 running again Megu on that has to be a Rapid Spin Blast. I said Rapid Spin last time and it wasn't Rapid Spin. Yutao going on to Umbreon, Sorayu Suzuro linking up again with the Zoroark Comfey, and that's not a support Mew either. That's going to be fully blown attack minded Slick Spoon Mew. Clearly not wanting the ghosts of Game 2 to haunt him again this time. He wants that secure for himself.
Yeah, no, never again. But boy, we have some weird comps altogether for this final game. It's like both teams were like, well, what are we going to do? It's the potential final game of the day. And they're like, I don't know, just do something. Lapras, I'm looking back. I'm also looking back at the stream to like look at the comp because I'm just trying to think of the idea of what Lapras is for. And, I guess that the big thing about the team is that between Lapras and Zero Aura, there are a lot of opportunities to do kind of collateral damage by just being around people. So Zoroark is very hard to lock down, but if you don't really need to lock it down and you just happen to hit it because it's behind you, that's pretty good. And I do think that may be one of the strategies here, but I'm not 100% sure. This is certainly an interesting pick to me as we get into Game 3 of Grand Finals.
Game 3, and the casters genuinely have no clue what's going on. You're in for a treat, folks. If I was to try and theory craft right here, Chef, I'd say probably Perish Song Bubble Beam on the Lapras as maybe a countermeasure to the Zoroark, but then again, the Lapras was selected before the Zoroark was even locked in. So that feels like that theory out the window. Either way, early scores going for both sides, looking for those stacks, light screen away, and at least on this bottom path, they shake hands to do fights another day.
Yeah, the pick order was like, I didn't even get to pay attention to the pick order because they just kept hitting us with like random picks that I did not expect. So we'll see how it actually goes. We'll see what the actual thoughts were. Bruv getting very, very low down at the bottom. Also, a Desu on Hoopa. Wait, I just realized that. The Desu's on... Wait, they have... I'm sorry, they have Hoopa Eldegoss? Did I miss that in the draft too? What's going on? Are my brain just melting? Do they just have double support? Why? What's going on? How did I miss that?
Complete carnage, and perhaps it's going to be played in a very minor key for Nouns Esports here. They do get away with the glancing flank from Sorayu, who now moves up to the top path, which is where we where we find the demise of Sorayu. Wow, they did not last long.
Hey, you know what? Zera Aura, I really like that pick here. I will say that. I think Zera Aura is still quite strong. Even though we do pop off every time we see it, I really like it. I gotta lock in, though. Like, the fact that I didn't notice there was double support, I feel like there was just so much to look at. It felt like I was seeing double and not registering it in my brain, but we're here. We're in grand finals. I'm awake at 8 a.m., but really, I would have been awake at this point anyway, so I am so curious what this entire strategy is. I love to see it. It's a pretty big surprise. And so far, it's honestly looked pretty decent. We've got Nouns up ahead by levels, just barely. I mean, points at this point don't really matter. Not a bunch of stacks in for Nouns, which is a little bit of a deficit, but I think they're looking pretty good, at least in this early game.
Anti-Cabachans rotate onto this southern path. We got the smoke bomb down, but not for too much longer. And Gen 5 poking, prodding, but not feeling too confident to sustain the siege. On this top path, Megu getting harassed. That War Turtle pushback to base. Sorayu was looking for some joy, but Toon is simply too... You know, the word where they avoid people all the time. Diligent. There we go.
It's called working in esports. Is that right? That's how it works for me. But yeah, definitely not running into situations where they are in danger. And that's two, well, I want to say 1v1s, but it's 1v2 this time because, of course, the Comfei was on it. But 2 times that Toon has won the matchup against the Zoroark. So that's really, really looking good for them. And they're just continuing to really burst ahead as far as levels. However, I cannot not talk about what I assume is Gatlu over on that Blaziken. That's still the highest level in the game, just kind of farming on their own.
All right, they've got the Regieleki. Can Gen 5 generate some momentum now? Another backline poke from Sorayu, who's gotten stuck in the speed zone here and has re-emerged, trying to take out a Desu. A lot of damage tanked, but eats the citrus berry and is going to get away with it. Nouns with a very sharp rotate onto top path, and that Regieleki is dispelled.
That's a nice defense, and once again, I mean, I think just the placement of where Toon has been standing has been really good, and finally a really big push from Gen 5. That is a kind of a sneaky everybody run in at once and score. Toon getting caught in a mean look, but it's not anything that's too scary. Toon and Utah just kind of hanging out, fighting over a very small amount of EXP, but Sorayu going back in for the fight again. They do have a support this time with Inder actually being there, and it looks like the Umbreon is the one who's getting taken down in the midst of all of this fighting.
Sorayu is just like Red Mist right now. Just fight, 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 and hope for the best. Plasma Gale, of course, taking down the Umbreon earlier, but because of that maneuverability that Thief provides, they're able to do so relatively free of any worry. So 104 to 2. Those are your scores as we head towards the halfway mark. Not that I feel they make much of a difference, Chef, based on this series.
I also think that these points are not going to be indicative of who's winning until a little bit later, at least. Obviously, getting that advantage for the late game is going to be big, but these are very volatile teams, and they're both going to melt relatively quickly if they get into a team fight. I mean, obviously, the support is huge, but if they get dove on and they don't do well, it's not going to go great. Good defense, though, from Gen 5 on this Tier 1 goal zone. A little bit of action happening on bottom as well, but the majority of the members are up top, and Nouns really choosing to try to retreat a little bit faster, try not to lose anybody on their team, but it does look like Toon finally got taken down.
It was a gorgeous, like, oh, the eject button into the overheat, and they're going to be locked down by the mean look. You can see on that bottom path, Hooper brought everybody except Gatlu down there, and that means free scores now on this top path. That means a zone crack for this top path for Gen 5. 193 to 78, so Nouns have gotten some joy down south, but more KOs going into Gen 5, who could quite rightly turn around and try and take down this Regieleki. Not that the damage dealer on their team is anywhere near them.
This has finally started to look a little bit, I don't want to say weak, but there's certainly some vulnerability from Nouns. Toon Slim, despite getting a bunch of KOs early and not getting KO'd at all, now has fallen twice in a pretty low amount of time. And on the other side, they've managed to get some experience kind of across the board from Gen 5. They're still technically down by a small amount, but I mean, the basement Reggie as well is going to be a huge, huge boon for them. Getting both objectives, things are starting to look better for Gen 5 than they were at a pretty rough start.
Yeah, better being, it looks normal.
Yeah.
Like, it looks all right. and that's as far as I'm willing to go. all players into double digits now across the board. Funnily enough, Nouns Esports still with the lobby leading player level-wise. That's Gatlu on the level 12. Flowery Fields Forever might as well use it. Look at this 1 point, big value potential for Nouns Esports should they win this fight. Plasma Gale goes down, Hydro Typhoon goes down, in goes the Lapras. This is an affront to this T1 zone. Ultimately, only 25-point overdunk via Bruv. But what's more important to me, Chef, is the amount of KOs and experience gained in that fight.
It's certainly pushing them slightly ahead once again. By the way, we did get a chance to see that Inder is on the Trick Hoopa for this game. So finally we are going to actually see that, which does make a lot of sense to give you that kind of solo, I don't know, support for hard carry when you already have the Eldegoss as well. That's something I expected may have been the case, but I just wanted to confirm it, at least for the moment. Gatlu, once again, the EXP leader of the game. Gatlu has been, I feel like we've barely seen Gatlu, because he's farming in every single game for like 9 minutes, and then at the 1 minute mark he comes in and either wins the last team fight or loses the last team fight. And I mean, it's a strategy, it works, and it's clearly the leveling is paying off.
Seatbelts are fastened. Please keep your arms and legs inside the ride at all times, folks, because buckle up, we're in for something here. Gen 5 with a lead. It's a small one. If Nouns want to try and go for a back cap top path, that's certainly an option. The mean look is down onto Bruv, but Sorayu too afraid to commit. Nouns Esports swarm around their defender. Backline poke from Megu, but Toon will not be swayed.
This is tough, because any amount of damage that you do to Nouns gets healed back immediately. You need to jump on them, you need to full commit. Obviously take your time or make them come to you because you have the lead, but what I'm saying is that your poke, while significant on that team, is not going to mean all that much. You've got to make the fight. Toon sneaking forward a little bit to try and find somebody, but Gatlu's going to be the first one to kind of take an initiation from Sorayu.
Okay, they have to use the Hoop Run Bound. They're very close to going down there, Adesu. Midnight Prance has been unleashed via the Umbreon, but again, only as a means of survival. We still have the Hydro Typhoon, we still have the Illusion Daze, and it's going to be used. Everything's going to be used. Who wins the fight? Can you believe it, Nouns fans? It's not you this time. Gen 5 shred through the team, wiped off Theosky Ruins. Nouns Esports, the four-peat in tatters.
Wow, with such a clean final moment as well. Already they had a points lead just to make things even better. The double support was a cool idea, but when you have so much burst damage, it's only going to mean so much. I mean, I know it was some shielding. Also, I know I was called out by chat. I said the wrong name for the supports. I swear I knew exactly who was actually playing. I just said the wrong name out of pure mumbling. But look at that. They're going through the first team to defeat Nouns. They're kind of having a good time in the middle. Not letting Toon join the party. That's a little bit rude, but they are finally going to let it happen for the final moments. That's just absolutely mean. But huge Sorayu joining the team and taking down the first win against Nouns this season.
I love to be proven wrong, because it means that the form book has been thrown into the fire. Gen 5, the first non-Nouns winners in EU this season. And I gotta say, Chef, they 100% deserve it. Are they going to have this opportunity again? We are yet to know. Was it just a rough start to the Inder era of Nouns? Will they get better as this team progresses through the rest of the season? We are not to know. For the moment, Gen 5, genuinely, congratulations. And for Sorayu, let's not forget, a move cemented with evidence now.
Yes, that was a great first